What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. I really do hope you guys are well. Thank you so much, by the way, for all of the support that you guys have shown on the recent videos. This month has been absolutely crazy for us, so I genuinely cannot thank you enough for that. In today's video, I kind of wanted to go into what actually drew me to Lord of the Rings Online in the first place. How did I start playing it? You know, kind of what put it on my radar, if that makes sense. And I guess that story really starts about a year ago now. I was going through a bit of a stagnant phase in life, as we all do. That's my personal life, my job included. I'd studied to be a tattooist for, well, months and years ultimately, and got into the field, started my own business, and realised that it just wasn't really that interesting. Yeah, it's okay, and sometimes I enjoy it, but it's not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And content creation and gaming has always been something that has separated me from the realities of life. Now, whilst in this time period of about a year ago, I was making smaller videos on this channel surrounding a game called Phantasy Star Online, which I genuinely adored at the time, but there were issues with connectivity, and my game kept crashing, and I just couldn't upload the videos and stream consistently. And honestly, I just fell into a bit of a pit of misery about it. I was kind of like doom and gloom. Well, if this isn't going to work for me, then nothing is. And the thing is, for me, when I go through these phases, I'm desperately searching for something to just pull me out of the darkness, right? It sounds really morbid and really dramatic, but that's just the way that my brain works. I've played quite a few MMOs over the years, more notably probably Final Fantasy XIV is where I spent a lot of my hours, but the issue for me is I just really struggle with connection. And what I mean by that is I love to feel fully immersed in a game, and for me the only way that I can do that is if I actually give a shit about what's going on around me. That could just be the landscape, that could be the characters, the world building, anything like that. And as good as Final Fantasy XIV was at the time, I just found myself not caring about anything. Yeah, some elements of the story were pretty cool, but I just didn't care. I had no connection to the pathways that we were walking through or the areas you'd explore. It was meaningless to me. And something in my brain clicked back to my childhood, where we'd spoke about actually on another video, where some of my friends were talking about Lord of the Rings Online at school, as well as the teachers were. And I just thought to myself in that moment, I thought, like, if they enjoyed it back then, like, it's still popular now. People are still playing this. Like, it must be worth a go at the very least. So I kept going onto the online pages, the launcher and the Steam page, and looking at some of the graphics and the artwork. And this is why I don't get too antsy with people when they talk about graphics. I've made a lot of videos defending the graphics in the game, but from a new player's perspective, it is kind of a bit like the graphics are the obvious standoff here, right? So anyway, fast forward, I'd convinced myself that I'm just going to play it, right? What's the worst thing that can happen? I'm just going to install it, play it. If I hate it, I can uninstall it. I can honestly tell you that within about a minute to a minute and a half of playing the game, I was sold. Genuinely sold. Like, I really wish I was just talking out of my arse, but the issue with the graphics, or the apparent issue, soon became to me such a beautiful positive. It became a charm to the game rather than a detriment. I love the fact that Lotro is set in the style, in the graphics that is set in, the tone. We've covered this all before in previous videos, but just being able to insert myself into a world that I've read in the books, I've watched in the films, across multiple standard versions, extended versions, The Hobbit, even reading the Silmarillion now, to exist in a world like that alongside characters that I've known and loved for years was instantly a magnetic pull for me. And throwing back now to the tutorial, you know, when you first meet Strider and you see him and you're like, oh my god, like, it sounds ridiculous, but I'm in this game with these characters that I've idolized for years. And that to me was just, yeah, this is it. And any other flaw with the game, it sounds ridiculous, but was just completely swept under the rug for me. I really wasn't bothered about it at all. In fact, I remember the first time that I got a quest from Gandalf, I went and, it sounds ridiculous, I went and told Paige, my fiance, and I was like, I've just interacted with Gandalf in a game. And you could tell she was looking at just glazed. She was like, mate, like, get a life, like, just get a life. But to me, it was just incredible, you know, being able to just be a part of something that actually mattered. And that experience has only grown the more that I've played it as well. You know, there are moments now where I find myself playing the game where I just stop. I just stop and just take in the things around me. And I think back then, casting this back to what the real relevance of the video was, I think that was what I was truly looking for. Without getting too deep, I think I was looking for a place to belong in a reality that I didn't belong in. I've always been a bit of a black sheep. I've always been kind of like the outcast of the family, if that makes sense. So to belong in a world that I felt safe in, that I could talk to people, I could ask questions, I could hang out in. I know plenty of people now that I've got friends in the game that they don't do anything, they don't quest, they don't raid, they just hang out and they have some of the best times ever. So for me, Lord of the Rings Online, I firmly believe, without sounding ridiculous, I firmly believe the game came to me rather than I came to it, because I wasn't researching this game for weeks, for months. I've seen the odd video here and there, but I really truly believe this game just made itself apparent to me, and it was the right time, right place. I then started making these videos about it, and everything just seemed to slot into place, which is really nice. And Lotro, if you try and explain Lotro to someone who hasn't played it, it's hard, right? It's a hard sell. I'm going to be honest, it's not the easiest sell in the world, but if you can get them over that hurdle, this game sets you up for such an emotional connection with everything around you. I firmly believe, honestly, without talking too much complete rubbish, I firmly believe that this game is far more of a social construct than it is anything else. I have stopped and had more conversations in this game with like 100 people playing than I have done being involved in MMOs with thousands of people playing. In fact, when I first started, most people, I mean, you got to bear in mind now, a lot of people on the legendary servers, but back then on the free-to-play servers, yeah, you'd see a handful of people, and 9 times out of 10, people would either at least stop or send you a tell or at least wave at you. There was some sort of interaction, whereas games like WoW and Final Fantasy XIV, everyone's just beelining for the end game, you know. It's almost like when you go out in public, everyone's staring at the floor, walking in a straight line, just needs to get to where they got to go. No one's actually taking in what's around them. And I feel like Lord of the Rings Online is like that. It really allows you to just take in everything around you. It's a slower pace. It's perfect for someone like me, you know, if you're, because I'm going to assume the age range for this sort of game, you're looking maybe 25 earliest, up till, well, whatever it goes up to. So it is definitely a slower paced game, and I adore that for it. I really do. It's not really a super common thing to be able to get into a game this old, so late, but I will say that experiencing the legendary servers now really makes me wish I was there for the launch, and wish I had a PC, and wish I could have jumped into it so much sooner, because I really do feel like I've missed out on years worth of memories, not just content, but memories. I'm sure there are people out there that have played this for years that have got friends for life, probably friends that they've never even met in real life just through playing this game, and I absolutely adore that. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, that sitting here right now, even regardless of the YouTube stuff, I cannot see another MMO or an RPG experience taking me quite like Lord of the Rings Online has. And I'm not mad about it. I'm really not mad about it at all. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to, you know, share my thoughts, kind of let you guys know where I'm at with the game, and a bit of backstory about me as well. And it'd be cool to hear from you guys. You know, what are your thoughts? What got you into Lord of the Rings Online? And hopefully you're still enjoying it, still playing it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.